Không hiểu.
Trời ơi! Hello Vietnamese language learners, and welcome back to lesson number 3 of this course, where we break down this seemingly impenetrable language into easily digestible parts to help you learn the lingo, understand the culture, and make new friends. Each lesson is centered around reaching some communicative goal, which you can then use out in the real world to start talking with native Vietnamese speakers. Bài học 3. In the last lesson, we looked at how to introduce yourself and ask about age using the correct pronoun. This lesson assumes you are familiar with all the Vietnamese sounds not found in English from the first 2 videos, as well as the 5 tones of Southern Vietnamese. So if you haven't watched them, I'd recommend doing so now. With that heads up out of the way, the main communicative goal for this lesson will be for you to be able to ask about nationality and identify where you're from. This is probably the second most common question you will be asked in Vietnam after what is your name? Now, in order to be able to answer this question, we will need to continue learning the sounds of Vietnamese and also have an awareness of the full tonal structure. That is, with the addition of the 6th tone only found in Northern Vietnamese. And we will continue to build on our Vietnamese alphabet of difficult sounds as well. So let's dive right into it. This is what the Vietnamese alphabet looked like at the end of our last lesson, and we're nearly there. There are only a few more white letters still to be filled. The ones shaded in green are represented and sound the same as English, so don't worry about them. The ones in yellow are either written slightly differently or the letters correspond to a different sound as they would do in English. Briefly running through them, they are A, B, G, E, I, A, O, T, U, S, J, Y, H, Ong, Nh. And on the right hand side we have the diphthongs, which are 2 vowel sounds, and the triphthongs, which are 3 vowel sounds. They are ai, ao, yêu, ôi, ơi. Ôn tập, ka. Now let's just quickly review those diphthongs and triphthongs and some associated words. My lovely assistant Nhi will now model the sound and the words and just try and repeat after her.
Ào. Sao. Bao. Ai. Hai. Lại. Ai. Hay. Bảy. Yêu. Nhiêu. Hiểu. Ui. Tuổi. Muối. Ươi. Mời. Mươi.
Tiếng Việt có sao dấu. As previously mentioned, Northern Vietnamese has 6 tones. This is also considered standard Vietnamese in the sense that Hanoi is the capital, the place of government, and therefore news broadcasts, the majority of TV programs, textbooks and such will stick to this standard. This is represented in the orthography in that any one syllable can have one of 5 different tone marks or diacritics. And together with having no tone marking, this gives you the 6 tones. There aren't many Vietnamese syllables which can be spoken or written in 6 different tones and mean 6 different words, but ma is one of them. As a flat board tone, ma, it means ghost. As a falling tone, ma, it means butt. As a rising tone, ma, meaning cheek. A heavy or constricted tone, ma, meaning a rice seedling. Ma, meaning a grave, and this is the questioning tone. Really? Really? ma. And then you have the sixth tone, which is ma, ma, meaning code. And I'm calling this the hiccup tone, and you'll see why in a minute. The tone mark on the top here is actually called a tilde. Now, if we look at it enlarged here and we break it apart, it's quite reminiscent of the tonal contour you use for this tone. It comes up, it goes down, there's a glottal stop, which means that you're essentially holding your breath, and then it rises sharply. Ma. And we do have this glottal stop in English. If you say something like uh-oh, uh-oh, in the middle there you have a glottal stop. So try and replicate that, and then you will have this tone. Ma, ma. Now these two words, ma and ma, will be conflated into just one tone, ma, or the really questioning tone in Southern Vietnamese. They will still be written differently, but the distinction in the pronunciation will only be found in Northern Vietnamese. Ma, ma. And on the one hand, this does make words more distinguishable from one another, but on the other hand, this hiccup tone, ma, is the hardest tone out of the six, so it makes pronunciation more difficult. Nghe một người bản xứ. To help you differentiate between these six tones, which is probably one of the most difficult things for a Vietnamese language learner to be able to do, Nhi will say these syllables at random with different tones, and you need to listen to them, look or point at the one you think she says, wait for it to light up to see if you were correct.
Mã, má, mạ, ma, mà, mã, mã, ma, má, mã, mà, mạ.
Phát âm khó. And before we get into the names of major countries or nationalities, we need to tackle a few more difficult sounds in Vietnamese. Now remember, chào, ja, as in hi, and we have chào, chào. This doesn't have any meaning, but the TR digraph is a retroflex version of the CH digraph. What does that mean? Well, any retroflex sound means that the tongue is curved back in the mouth, as you can see in the diagram. Chinese has this a lot with sounds like j, sh, r, instead of j, sh, r. So if you just take jiao and try and curve your tongue back into the top of your mouth and say jiao, and you should have the correct sound. In English, the QU digraph gives you qua, as in queen. In Vietnamese, it gives you gua, as in guoc. And we do kind of have this in English in names like Gwen or Gwyneth, Gua, Guoc, which means nation or country or kingdom. And Trung Quốc means Middle Kingdom or China. And it's very similar in Mandarin as well, which is Trung Quốc, meaning the same thing. Phát âm cuối. Looking closer at final sounds, we have Trung Quốc, Trung, being that blowfish sound we looked at in the previous lesson, and Guoc, Guoc, Nyat. Nyat is Japan. And you place your tongue in the correct final position, but you don't pronounce the sound. So remember the duck, stuck, tuck, and that stuck, da sound. Use that as the final sound, but don't pronounce it. Nyat, nyat. Fap, fap. This P word only exists in loan words into Vietnamese. And if we take these three words, pit, spit, and bit, take spit, elongate the S, spit, lose the S, bit. Make it a final sound, fap, fap. Taking a closer look at the Blowfish M sound, as in kham, or chung, or ow, you can see that this final sound, this Blowfish M sound, only appears after an o, u, or a vowel sound. But we also have the Blowfish C sound, as in oop, oop. You make the same movement with your lips, you puff them out, but instead of trying to pronounce an M sound, you try and pronounce a C sound, and you get oop, which is Australia. Oop. Người is a very common word meaning person, and here we have the initial ng sound, which is the same in English, but we only have it in the final position in words like sing or song. Now, probably the best way to find this, to be able to pronounce this correctly, is if we take a word in English like thing, thingy, thingy, and try and overpronounce the end of that word, thingy, lose the th, ingy, ingy, lose the I, ngi, ngi. And with no accent, that is the name Ngi, who helps me on this with pronunciation. With the tilde, ngi, think, ngi, rest. And remember, these two words are conflated in Southern Vietnamese, so they will both be pronounced the same as ngi, người, person, ngoài, outside. And here we actually have what's called a glide. We have this W sound, which we'll look at in more detail in another video. So here, you don't pronounce the O as a A, but as a W, ngwa, ngoài. Nước gives you country, ngoài, outside. So, anh là người nước ngoài. Word for word is I, verb to be, person, country, outside, or I am a foreigner. Anh là người nước ngoài. And this is a very useful phrase to help your pronunciation, because you've got these difficult sounds, you've got the falling, rising, falling tone, and it will take you a while to get your tongue around it. But I'd recommend practicing this phrase again and again until your mouth muscles become accustomed to these sound and tone changes. And you will hear this all the time as a foreigner, especially if, like me, you live in a Vietnamese neighborhood. Pretty much on a daily basis, kids will point and say, người nước ngoài, người nước ngoài. Now, to sum up the variations of this NG digraph here, let's look first at the final or coda sound. So this is your Blowfish sound with không, chung, nóng, respectively meaning no, middle, and hot. And this Blowfish M sound comes after the pure vowels a, o, u, as previously said. Now, these are English words, sing, song, bang. Vietnamese words like mang, bang, dương, Sung, which mean bring or wear, buy, like buy car, bed and down. These are all pronounced the same as English. So sing, mang, song, bang. After any other vowel, this is pronounced nga. And you might think, well, with sung, meaning down, that it should be a blowfish M sound because it's following the o vowel. But this is actually a digraph. It's two vowel sounds, u, o, or, sung. And in these cases, it's just pronounced the same as in English. Now, looking at the initial sound or onset, this can be written either as NG or NGH, but the pronunciation's the same. These are the words we looked at before and the English meaning. For a bit of trivia, I threw in nging at the bottom, which is in fact the longest word or syllable in Vietnamese at 7 letters and means to lean. Now let's put some of these new sounds to work to build up a core vocabulary of common countries you are likely to use. First up, as mentioned before, is up with the rising tone and the blowfish C sound. Next up is an, meaning England, and you'll notice that this also shares the same word as the personal pronoun for older brother. Mỹ with the hiccup tone. Pháp, rising tone. Nga, level tone with the initial ng ng sound. Nga. Vietnam. Nam here meaning south, southern land of the Viet people, Vietnam. Trung Quốc, Middle Kingdom. The ng sound is the blowfish M sound here, Trung Quốc. And Quốc is a bit more formal than Nước, so it means more like nation or kingdom, whereas Nước is less formal for country. Hàn Quốc, again, Quốc for kingdom. Han is a Sino-Vietnamese word meaning cold, so it's literally cold country. And this is specifically South Korea. North Korea has another name. Nhật Bản for Japan. And again, these are Sino-Vietnamese words meaning land of the rising sun. Nam Phi, Phi meaning Africa, Nam, South, South Africa. Hỏi về quốc tịch. First, a couple of question words. Gì, meaning what. Nào, meaning which. Anh là người nước nào. Word for word is you, verb to be, person, country, which. So here you'll notice that the question words typically, but not always, come at the end of the sentence. Literally, this means, what is your nationality? And after what is your name, this is likely the second most common question you will be asked. And it's the Vietnamese equivalent of where are you from, which was how we would normally phrase this in English. Where are you from has a bit of a different meaning, which we'll look at a bit later. The answer is Anh là người Anh, or Em là người Mỹ, Chị là người Pháp. Whichever your pronoun is relative to the person you're speaking to, and then whichever your country is from. In my case, they happen to be the same because Anh can be used as older brother as well as the country England. I be person England, or I'm English. Nghe, nhìn và trả lời. Now it's time for some question and answer practice. Either myself or Nhi will ask you a question using one of the three main pronouns, Anh, chị, or em. And you will need to reply with the correct pronoun to refer to yourself, plus the correct country to give your nationality. For example, I may ask, anh là người nước nào? And you would reply, anh là người Mỹ, if the country in question is America. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. Em là người nước nào?
Em là người Anh. Anh là người nước nào?
Anh là người Nhật. Chị là người nước nào?
Chị là người Trung Quốc. Em là người nước nào?
Em là người Úc. Chị là người nước nào?
Chị là người Nam Phi. Anh là người nước nào?
Anh là người Việt Nam. Em là người nước nào?
Em là người Mỹ. Anh là người nước nào?
Anh là người Pháp. Chị là người nước nào?
Chị là người Hàn Quốc. Em là người nước nào?
Em là người Nga. It's probably a good idea to revisit the previous exercise a couple of times to just practice trying to respond quickly to the questions. But for now, we will tackle the question of where are you from as literally spoken in Vietnamese. Now, remember tam and how we found it originally using the three words duck, stuck, and tuck. We elongated the S, stuck, to get that duh sound, which gives you tam, eight, and duh, meaning from. Remember this implosive b sound we learned in the first lesson. Now there are two implosive sounds in Vietnamese, and the second is da, da, and it's pronounced in the same way as the b sound. You depress the glottis and air flows into the mouth. So in English we would say den, as in a fox's den. In Vietnamese it's den, den, and this is the implosive D sound. And this gives us den, meaning come. And remember this vowel sound, if we shorten this sound, we get giving us the do, and o, do, which is the question word for where. Hỏi về bạn đến từ đâu? Anh đến từ đâu? You come from where? Where do you come from? And this doesn't mean the country, but if someone asks you this, they know already where you're from, which country you're from, but they want something more specific, which area, which city. So for example, an answer to this would be, anh đến từ London. I come from London. Before wrapping up, let's just quickly run through the new sounds that we've added to our Vietnamese alphabet, here represented in orange. They are the shortened version of g, or as a final Blowfish C sound, as in up, the, as in do, where, b, which only appears in loan words like in Pháp, Mỹ, Tra, Trung, Qua, Quốc, and we've learned all the variations of this NG sound. As an initial, người. As a final, bang. And as a final blowfish M sound, chung. And also this digraph here, o, as in đâu. Bài học tiếp theo. And in the next lesson, we will look at finishing the Vietnamese alphabet in its entirety. And we'll look at using noun classifiers in order to be able to identify things, which will allow you to know how to buy things at a convenience store. Cảm ơn các bạn đã vì xem video này. Hẹn gặp lại.